Hello everyone. So this is my presentation on bone growth, and the two types of bone growth is longitudinal bone growth and appositional bone growth. And with longitudinal bone growth, it's like the stretching of bones. Bones become greater in length. And how that happens is that at the growth plates, cartilage is built, and then that cartilage gets turned into bone tissue, so it kind of inserts a new length of bone in there. And that's typically found in the and it's typically found in the long bones, such as the femur, the tibia, and the fibula. And that helps with growth spurts. And on the opposite side, the appositional bone growth is where bones grow in diameter. And with this, it can affect all kinds of all your bones, like your long bones, short bones, irregular bones, all your bones. And what this does, again, it increases the bone in diameter. And how it does it is the constant work of osteoclasts and osteoblasts, making the bones thicker and stronger, but making sure there's that spongy bone in between so it's not as heavy. And then the osteoblasts produce new bone, and then the osteoclasts resorb the old bone. And then for the different layers of bones, there's 4 different layers. And one layer is the periosteum layer, and that is the outer covering of the bone. And that its function is that it nourishes the compact bone from the blood vessels, the nerves, and lymphatic vessels. And it's the attachment at the tendons and ligaments to your bones. And then with compact bone, it's dense osseous tissue that can withstand compressive forces. So it's very dense, it's very hard, and its function is that it provides support and protection. And it's found under the periosteum. And then the next bone type is the spongy bone, and it has like mesh-like framework. That way it supports any shifts in weight distribution. So its function is to reduce the weight of your bones, and it also contains the red marrow as well. And then the last bone layer is the endosteum, and that's the delicate membranous lining of a bone's inner bone cavity, which is the medullar cavity. And the function of it is that it's for bone growth, repair, and for remodeling as well. And then for the cells that are involved with your bone tissue are the osteogenic cells, which are the stem cells, and they're found in the deep layers of the periosteum and marrow. And its function is to develop into osteoblasts, so they differentiate into that. And then the next cell is the osteoblast, which it forms the bone matrix, and it is found in the growing portions of the bone. And its function is to build bone formation. And then the next cell type is osteocytes, and it maintains bone tissue. Those are found entrapped in the bone matrix, and like I said, it maintains bone tissue. And then the next one are osteoclasts, and those are found on bone surfaces and at sites of old, injured, or unneeded bones. And their primary function is that they do bone reabsorption. So it breaks down the old bones. And then bone growth helps support in development, healing, and maintenance in all sorts of different ways. With development, it is the longitudinal growth, which increases height, and it's when you're going through growth spurts. And then the appositional growth, which strengthens your bones. Um, and then in the regards to healing, when you injure yourself and get a fracture on your bone, it's really incredible because the blood begins to clot at the break, and so the fracture then gets stabilized by creating internal and external calli, and then the osteoclasts come in and reabsorb the dead bone, and the osteogenic cells become active. They divide and differentiate into osteoblasts, and then the internal and external calli unite, and compact bone replaces the spongy bone at the outer margins, and so your healing process is complete. So it resorbs the bone, makes it stronger, and it's really fascinating. And then as far as maintenance for your bones, regular exercise is very important with maintaining bone density due to the bones adapting to the stresses that get put on it. In the textbook, it talks about how sedentary people are more prone to bone breakage, especially as they get older, and their cells don't work as hard or as much as it used to when they were younger. So that's why it's really important to keep an exercise regimen up even into your older age. And also the continuous remodeling of osteoblasts and osteoclasts help, because the osteoclast gets rid of the dead, unnecessary bones, while the osteoblasts help in the bone formation. So it's really just fascinating. So that is my presentation on bone growth. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and have a great night. Thank you. Bye.